Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Chris and today we're up at Bolt Head Airfield taking a look at Mike Bartley's Piper Cub. This is a 1941 Piper J3 Cub in absolutely immaculate condition. Hard to believe it's been around all those years. I'm going to creep around the side, have a quiet look at Mike and Dave just getting the aircraft prepared. Quite a bit of work goes into keeping these old vintage planes in such immaculate condition. Yes, Mike, the camera's on you. Get back to your screwdriver, get those screws tightened up. Mike is a long-time British Airways former commercial pilot with many thousands of hours, but he really just enjoys pottering around these days in this Piper Cub. And Dave, who's helping him in here, is one of our local inspectors who keeps an eye on all these old aircraft. This is Mike and his very lovely Piper Cub J3. Just about to take on his permit test flight. All aboard. Just checking the fuel, which is quite interesting. It's literally just a piece of wire that goes down through the top of the fuel cap, attaches to what is really a cork. So when the cork floats high and the wire comes up high, you've got fuel. When the wire disappears down low, you haven't got much fuel left. Of course, a problem arises on occasion that these wires, where they slide up and down through the fuel cap, become stuck. So there have been occasions when the fuel gauge wire is not moving. You might think you have fuel, but in fact your fuel might be running low. But generally this is a fairly foolproof system. Checking all the flaps and elevators and ailerons. Mike's just going to taxi up to the runway. Interestingly, here at Bolt Head Airfield, the existing runway that's used by light aircraft runs alongside and parallel to the wartime runway, which is slightly up there where the fence line is. Fence line is.
How big is your love? Tell me, how high is your patience?
And Mike is lifting off now, taking off for a short flight just to check everything out. Now, as as we fly out over the end of this runway, we'll see Salcombe off to the left, and we'll be just clearing the end of Bolt Head, which is coming up on our right hand side. So we've got Salcombe Harbour, entrance to our left, Prawl Point directly ahead, and we're now making a right turn and banking out over, well, we're just approaching over Stairhole Bay now, and then we'll turn further right, take a short flight along the cliff edge, just turning over Bolt Head now, and take a short flight along in a westerly direction along the cliff, and then we'll turn again over the top of the airfield and just have a good look of it before we fly out towards Salcombe. So here we are flying along the cliff, and off to the right is the airfield where we've just taken off from, and we're going to fly along a little bit further, and just down to the right you can see Middle Saw, and also this would have been the end of one of the or the beginning of one of the wartime runways. Make a very gentle right turn now. Just below down there's one of those signal stations from the Middle Ages. We're turning now, coming overhead, and again just below is Middle Saw, and just off to the left is the runway that we just taken off from, and here's a diagram of how the runway layout was during World War II. So we're heading along parallel to those old runways now. Middle Saw just down to the right, and then we're approaching East Saw Farm, and then we'll be heading off towards Salcombe. But the flight will continue, and we'll have another extension of the flight which will fly up past Salcombe, and we're going to take a look at some of the creeks in our next film, so hopefully you'll stick around and come back for that. Hopefully you've enjoyed this flight. We're just coming back over Bolt Head again, and been stories from locals of when the wartime aircraft took off from here in this direction. They were so heavy that they had to dip down towards the sea to gain enough speed before they could actually climb away. Very picturesque part of Salcombe on the left here. I hope you've enjoyed the flight and look forward to seeing you on the next film. All the very best.